So ALV by object oriented concept. ALV by object oriented concept. We all know ALV stands for ABAP list viewer, ABAP list viewer, or application list viewer, ABAP list viewer or application list viewer. Okay, and we can create ALV by object oriented concept also. So if you all remember, we have seen the ALV, right? Normal ALV using normal report programming there without oops concept. So there what we did, we created a field catalog, and then we bind the data with the field catalog. At that time, we use the function module reuse ALV grid display. This is a standard function module that we used to bind the internal table data with the field catalog. Field catalog originally just defines the structure of our ALV display, structure like what will be the column name, its heading, and how it is going to behave, everything which we define inside the field catalog. Then what we do, we bind the data with the field catalog using this particular function module, which is reuse ALV grid display. This is your normal ALV. So now there are lots of differences in case of your oops ALV, right? So here we have certain steps. So steps that we need to follow here. Steps for creating a ALV grid using object-oriented concept. There are certain steps which we need to follow if you want to create a oops ALV. So step one, we will create a field catalog. Okay, so we will create a field catalog here also, and for this field catalog we have a structure given by SAP system, LVCS fcat, which we use it for creating the field catalog. Then what we do, we have another step 2. For oops ALV we need to create a container, so we create a custom control, that is container. We will create a screen. On that particular screen we will create a custom control or container on a particular screen. So on a screen, this will be our step 2. Then we will have step 3. So step 3 will be there. Step 3 will be create an object of container class. There is a standard container class CLGUI custom container, GUI custom container, which we create. There is a container class CLGUI custom container. We create the object of container class and we pass the name of container as a parameter to it. So the container name created in step 3, we pass the name of the container into this object. Step 2. In this step, the container we have created, we will simply pass into this object. This will be our step 3. Then we will have step 4. Step 4 will be create the object of ALV grid. Create the object of ALV grid. Okay. Create the object of ALV grid. So we have a grid class here, CL GUI ALV underscore grid. We create the object of this class, and what we do, and pass the container as a parent for this grid object, So whatever container object that we have created, it will act as a parent for this particular grid object. We will pass this parent for this grid object, and at last we will have the fifth step. We have an instance method, call instance method set table for first display. Set table for first display, which is a instance method for this grid class. We call it, and to display the ALV grid, we call this a method set table for first display to display the ALV grid. This is a method of our grid class. We call it, here we are creating object, so using this object we will call this method and we will display our ALV. So these are the 5 steps for our OOPS ALV that we must follow, okay, for creating a grid class. So I am going to simply take a simple requirement. I will take a simple requirement here. Requirement display, let's say, sales order data from VBAC table using OOPS ALV. This is my new requirement I'm going to take, and for this requirement I will create a OOPS ALV. Let's see that. I will open the server. Okay, so SE38 OOPS ALV. Create OOPS ALV executable package and transport request, right? So as usual, what we do, we create our structure. So I'm going to simply create it. I will go to my VBAC table and I will simply get the fields from this table. Okay, so let's see some fields. I will create the structure. Types, begin of TY sales order. I will get the fields from here, Control Y, and I will get the fields. Just here. Okay, it has not been copied out. Type VBL and VA, its type also. ERDAT, its type also. ERJDT. Then we will have another type, ERNUM. I will take one more field, sales document category. Here. And then end of TY underscore sales order. Okay. This is my local structure. Then I will create the internal table. So data keyword for defining our internal table. So LT sales, type table of TY sales order, and I will have the work area LS sales, type TY sales order. Then we will define the field catalog, right? So we have a structure for field catalog. So LT field cat, type table of LVCSFcat. Okay. Then we will have the work area for our field catalog. So ls field cat, type LVCSFcat. This is the declaration part. So it has been done. Then I will create my select option. So data LV VBELN, type the data element VBELN VA, and I will create the select options as VBELN for local variable VBELN. This is what we have declared. I will activate it. Then I will give a name for this select option, right? Sales document number, activated. Okay, so I will have a start of selection and I will write the logic. So select VBELN ERDAT ERJDT ERNUM VBTYP from VBAK table into my internal table, so LTVBAK, where my sales document number in the select option. This is what we do. I'm getting the query. Normal thing, we all know how to do all these things. Okay, it will be LT sales. Okay, normal thing, problem should be there. Now we will follow this step. First step, creation of field catalog. So I will create the field catalog. So let's create the field catalog for each field. Field name, I will pass the field name here VBELN, and I will pass a column heading for it also. So SCR textile, a column heading for it, sales document number, sales document number. I will append it. So append this ls field catalog to my internal table LT field catalog and clear the work area. So clear ls field cat. This is my first field. I will write field catalog for the rest of the field also. ERDAT, creation date, creation date. Then we will have another one, ERJDT, ERJDT, time. We will have another one, ERNUM, here username. Okay, username. Then we will have the last one, document category. So VBTYP, VBTYP, document category. Okay, let's activate it out. So this is my first step, creation of field catalog. Then we will have the second step, create a custom container on the screen. So I will define a screen for me. I will define one screen. So call screen 100. I'm defining here one screen. I will go for this screen. Yes. Yes. Normal screen. And I will create a container on it. So layout. Okay. Create this container here, custom control. I will give here the name container1. Okay, save it and go back. Activate it. Okay, so this is my second step. Container has been created with the name container1. Then we will create the object of this CLGUI custom container, and we will pass the name of the container into this object. Okay, so create the object data hello container is equal to new CLGUI custom container. Okay, and here we have a parameter container name. If you will not pass here, you will get this error. You can check container name is mandatory, so we must pass the container name into this object. So I will pass here the container name, container name is equal to the name of the container that we have just created, container1. Okay, let's check now. It has been resolved. Activate it. So this is my third step, creation of custom container. Then we will have the fourth step, create the ALV grid object. Okay, create the ALV grid object. So allo grid is equal to new CLGUI ALV grid. And pass the container as a parent. So I parent is equal to my object of container, hello container. Object of container here. Okay, activate it out. So now it has been created, and at last we have the fifth step. Call this method set table for first display to display the ALV grid. So I will call it pattern ABAP object pattern. Our object name hello grid, class name CL GUI ALV grid, and then method name set table for first display. Set table for first display. Call it. We don't need this exporting parameter. I will remove it. I just need changing and IT field catalog. So I'll pass my internal table here, binding the data with the field catalog. So LT field cat. Okay, uncomment the exceptions. As usual, uncomment the exceptions and activate it out. So these are the steps for creation of a OOPS ALV. Create the structure, internal table declaration, creation of field catalog. We declare our select option. Then in a start of selection, I have written the logic. After that, I have defined the field catalog for every column. After that, what I did, I created the screen here, custom container screen. On that screen, I have created a custom container. Then I created a container class and I passed the name of the container. After that, I created the grid class. This container will act as a parent for this grid object. So we need to pass here I parent parameter, our grid object. And then we have this method set table for first display, which we can call and we can display our ALV. Okay, so let's activate it and go and check. I will pass here 1 to 3 and I will execute it and see all the data I'm getting. Right, I'm getting all the data here. So is there any doubt how to create a OOPS ALV? You can create any OOPS ALV for any kind of or let's say purchase order also, material master also, normal custom table also, right? So this is your normal ALV. Then if you all remember, we can integrate with this basic list also. This was the same thing that we have seen in our normal ALV class also. So here we have some different concept. In the previous session, we saw the concept of events, right? We saw the concept of event. Using event, we can call the one method of different class from a method of a different class, right? Method of one class can call the method of different class using this event.